Today on Local Connection, we visit one of Vancouver's landmarks in the heart of the city.
Join us as we discover some of the history behind the Vogue Theatre. On today's show,
Shaw TV's talk show host duo.
Also, catch up with a Canadian icon.
Into environmental issues.
See all this and more right now on Local Connection. Welcome to Local Connection, a show about the people and places that make the Lower Mainland great. I'm Christine Vu.
And I'm Lola Acala. We are here at one of the busiest venues in the city, the Vogue Theatre on Granville Street.
Established in 1941, there's a lot of history to be uncovered at this historical site.
But first, just before they changed their name and moved national, I got a chance to sit with Shaw TV's talk show host duo to find out a little bit more about these funny twosome.
2012, Brits, November 7th, 2011, September 7th, 2012.
July 26th, 2012.
Hello, welcome. Lola Acala here for Shaw TV. Between the two of them, they've had over 30,000 interviews with Hollywood insiders, local and international artists. Their show has won over 10 Leo Awards and other numerous awards for Best Talk Show and Best Talk Show Host. Their on-screen camera is such that we haven't seen on TV in recent years. We love them. It's the very foxy Fiona Forbes and the very dashing Michael Eckford.
Hello.
Hey
God,
guys.
you're good at things. Thank you. It's a bit weird to be like on our set.
On the other side.
We have never, I don't think, have you ever sat here and been interviewed?
Not being interviewed in this
Never.
spot.
And that's why we thought it would be great to actually have you both in the spotlight.
Well, thank you, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm blushing.
Well, and part of it, we should probably do a little bit of math. 30,000 is actually, we've done about 15, I would guess, but we've done them together. So if you combine it, sure.
But I think congratulations are in order, first of all, because just last week, you guys hit your 3 million views on your YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't that just amazing?
Thanks. It's you know, the business, we're both fascinated by the business, period, right? So as the business changes, I think part of the fun for us is that you know, there's a lot of doom and gloom in our industry about, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I really like it. I'm really fascinated by it.
Tell us, how much further back do you guys go? And I think there's actually a funny story to this.
There is a funny story.
In terms of how you guys actually met.
We were at a brunch, a Sunday brunch with a bunch of people
story.
getting together at a local spot. There was probably about 20 people at the table, and we had mutual friends. And there was a guy at the end of the table who didn't talk to anyone, but every now and again he would just yell, "Ensenada frittata."
It was Ensenada frittata. The place in California, they had this thing on the menu called Ensenada frittata, and I just loved the alliteration. I loved the way it sounded. And I was super hungover. You know when you're so hungover you don't really care? That was me.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Journalism was really not your first career choice.
No.
It was actually, you were supposed to follow in your father's career choice. You were supposed to go to journalism school just as a way to kind of get over your fears of speaking.
I was going to go to law school because my dad was a lawyer, and I really was always interested in what he did. And he sat me down one day and he said, listen, if you can't get over your fear of speaking in public, you're never going to be a good lawyer, because you do realize, Fiona, because he was a realist, you do have to speak in front of people in a courtroom. And I was thinking, yeah, then there's that. So he kind of dared me to go, he told me, you know, taking a broadcasting course would be a great idea. And a week later I was on live TV. And I got the job.
How was that?
And then a couple years later it was an audition for this show.
And away we go. I was a massive megalomaniac. No, it wasn't. I was in construction for a long time. But I was the class clown. I was that typical kid that probably everybody knows.
You'd never guess,
they
right?
Think, yeah, he's going to be in prison fairly soon, probably sooner rather than later. And I sort of took to it later, and I gave it a try and just kept going.
Well, we love everything that you guys are doing, and we'll keep an eye out for you, and we will stay tuned each week for the show. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, you can catch Mike and Fiona on Urban Rush Monday to Friday, and you can catch Mike co-hosting each week from 6 a.m. on the Brodrake Morning Show on Rock 101 FM. Well, that's our show. I'm Lola Acala for Shaw TV signing off. Thanks for watching. See you next time. guys are naughty.
And what an awesome, fun interview that was. You can catch Mike and Fiona each week on their show, The Rush, at 10 p.m. each night right here on Channel 4.
Next up, we have another familiar face from the small screen. Our reporter Clayton Timko got to sit down with a Canadian environmentalist and icon.
Call it passion with a purpose. We all know him as an activist, a science broadcaster, and a Canadian academic. But what really fuels his environmental fire? Well, we're about to catch up with the one and only Dr. David Suzuki. Most 76-year-olds aren't still trying to protect nature, but David Suzuki is no ordinary 76-year-old. A lifelong love of the outdoors passed down from his father led to his studies in genetics in the 1950s, but it was conservationist Rachel Carson's 1962 book on pesticides that helped mold the Canadian icon we know today.
Although I loved nature and all that, it was Rachel Carson, for me, who began the move into environmental issues. When I got involved with the Nature of Things gang, it was seeing their very strong environmental commitment that I gained a lot of experience. I went to the Amazon, went to Africa, began to actually see through my media experiences what was going on around the world.
And what exactly is going on in the world today? According to Suzuki, climate change should be at the top of our minds.
Canada, among all of the industrialized nations, probably is more vulnerable to the impact of climate change than any other industrial country. We have the longest ocean coastline of any country in the world. When the ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica go in the ocean, then the rise is going to be really huge. Canada is going to be hammered by sea level rise.
As one of the most influential activists of our time, many people credit Suzuki for his contribution to the environmental movement. However, even after so many decades, he still remains humble.
I get on the street as people come up and say, thanks for all you're doing. You know, you're doing a great job. And I'm going, wait a minute now, I'm one person. You got to be up there too. And that's been the surprise, that people feel, oh, well, as long as Suzuki's up there raising the issues, they don't have to make any changes. But we've all got to make the adjustment. We've all got to start living in a different way.
After many years as a broadcaster, David decided to establish the David Suzuki Foundation in 1990. The foundation's goal is to help protect the diversity of nature and the quality of life in the present and for the future.
For example, we work with First Nations communities along the coast. We fight to find ways that these communities can have economic development without having to clear-cut their forests or overcatch their fish. We want to work with Native communities to find ways of protecting their land and their water so that it'll be there forever.
Being around forever is David's hope for the foundation he is so passionate about, and to leave a strong legacy for the next generation.
Good afternoon, David Suzuki Foundation.
I'm really proud of the foundation, and after I die, I hope the foundation is still there to do its work. So they're doing way more than I could do as an individual. So I'm happy to just pay attention to what different people are doing and tell them how great it is. I want to be able, at the end of my life, I hope my grandchildren will gather around my bed and I will look them in the eye and say, well, I did the best I could. That's all anybody can.
For Local Connection, I'm Clayton Timko.
Thank you, Clayton, and very much so. We love David Suzuki. He is very much a beloved Canadian icon in terms of the work that he has done and continues to do to save our environment. And we all know the importance of preserving the beauty that is around us.
That's right. That includes this magnificent theatre right here. In 1993, the Vogue Theatre was recognized as a National Historic Site of Canada, and today it serves as one of Vancouver's nightly hotspots.
And we'll be back with more stories after this.
We are kids. Wish kids.
10,000 kids.
We are brave.
We are strong.
We are fighters. Some days are good, some days are bad. Some of us make it.
Some of us don't.
My wish will make me strong.
The Children's Wish Foundation of Canada.
Does a wish make a difference?
You bet. You bet.
Imagine the difference a wish can make.
Only 2 more needles till my wish.
Please give today.
Welcome back to Local Connection. Hello, we are here on location at the Vogue Theatre on Granville Street. Now, although the Vogue Theatre started off as a movie theatre, it has fast become one of Vancouver's premier live venues.
And from one stage to the next, we go to Surrey, where new artists are getting a chance to share their work. Sonja Gregar has this story.
I'm here at the Surrey Central Library, where this evening a monthly meeting of the Surrey Muse will take place. Surrey Muse is a group that features presentations by poets, writers, and artists, and all are followed by a lively discussion with the audience.
The reason why we started this project was because there was an absence. We could feel that there were no other groups that were hosting the kind of program that we are hosting.
We wanted to bring Surrey's different communities together, literary communities and artistic communities, to basically see what kind of environment we can create.
Surrey Muse is very interesting in that they're willing to open their venues tremendously. They're willing to let people sing, to perform. They're not as rigidly tied into the readings format.
Stella drives to a rented cabin in the Bob, and only then does she realize she's being watched. Fortunately, the watcher turns out to be a rather odd-looking raccoon. The raccoon vanished, and in his place stood a young man, a very naked young man. His identity returned to him as rapidly as his shape.
I'm also the kind of person that likes to watch the world. So I'm interested in looking at patterns, especially as they recur. Interested in questions of history, particularly histories that have been submerged.
We dream tomorrow's murders in Dolby Sound surround, advance guards tickets, stages sideshow for sad dancers, simian simulations.
It seems to me that there's something very exciting going on in Surrey right now, and it's just really exciting to, to see this community coming together.
Good quality travel writing not only tells people about the place that you're writing about, it tells you something about the writer as well.
The elephant's name was Major, and off we went. Now, after 10 minutes, I was beginning to feel a bit seasick. And I wasn't expecting to feel seasick on the back of an elephant, especially in Nepal, which is a very long way from the sea.
Surrey Muse is not just about artist presentations. Every meeting features breaks during which members can mingle, munch on samosas, as well as meet the evening's designated book signing authors.
And my book is about a First Nations youth who lives in the city and he's not aware of his culture. It's got lots of humor in it.
This literary memoir is an experiential piece on my experiences as one of the handful of young women earning money for university in the commercial salmon fishing fleet on the north coast of Vancouver Island and the mainland.
I think we have quite a cosmopolitan sensibility that's kind of emerging, and Surrey Muse reflects that.
In addition to featured presenters, Surrey Muse prides itself on a vibrant open mic series, which allows writers of all levels of experience to share their work, yet also welcomes all manner of other artists, including actors and musicians.
What makes the group so unique is the levels of writing, the cultural inflections in all of the work.
It's been an inspiration. It's been great for networking, meeting people of like minds.
And my days swim with literary adventures every time after this, until the next month comes around.
If you would like more information about Surrey Muse, please go to the website below. This is Sonja Gregar, reporting for Local Connection.
Thanks, Sonja. Now, this stage that we're standing on right here has served as a platform for many diverse artists. Memorable performances include Michael Bublé, Sarah McLachlan, Ziggy Marley, and my favorite, Mumford & Sons.
And speaking of great performers, we take you to meet a jet-setting choir from Austria who show us exactly how they do it. traveling tirelessly while spreading the joy of beautiful music everywhere they go.
Yes, my group, I founded the group in 1988 in Carinthia. This is the most southern part of Austria. I founded the group, I'm the conductor of the choir, and we love to go on trips to be ambassadors of the Corinthian songs in the whole world. We visited for 5 days New York, had their concerts at the embassy, at the Austrian embassy, and at some places, at the Intrepid, for example. And now we are very happy to be here in Vancouver. We will stay here for 5 days, then we go and move over to Victoria, and then we go back at the 3rd of September.
Back to Austria?
Back to Austria, because everybody has to work then. It's our holiday trip.
And what sweet melody that was. Now, built in the Art Deco style of the 1941s, the Vogue Theatre was designed by award-winning designers Kaplan and Spruckman. Today, it is seen as one of the prime examples of modern-style buildings in Vancouver.
Next up, we meet an influential man in the city of Vancouver's own design. Maria Rosso has this story.
Larry Beasley was the former co-director of planning for 30 years for the city of Vancouver. He's been largely credited with the transformation of downtown Vancouver, creating the Vancouver model, which is a set of principles to build a sustainable city. Larry was also made a member of the Order of Canada, giving him honorable recognition for his work.
The biggest idea was that the downtown is a place to live. It's a place to invest your life. It's a place that you want to be in the day, but also in the evening. And then recreating the downtown so that that was possible.
So Larry, explain to us the process of designing.
Well, you know, when you design a city, two things have to happen together. One is that you have to bring a huge array of creative people, architects, landscape architects, environmentalists, engineers. The other thing is you have to bring all the public. You have to have processes that involve tens of thousands of individual citizens who want to give you their idea, and then you have to push that all together. You have to meld it all together, and then you push it through the political process.
Explain to us, what are we seeing right now?
Well, this is really the epicenter of what I would call modern contemporary Vancouver. You know, originally this was a rail yards, it was derelict, then we had the international exhibition. Then we said, well, what are we going to do with it? Right at the very time when we knew we had to reinvent the city. And we said, let's make it a community. So we developed it with housing and shops, with community facilities, a school down the way, places to work.
Building a community is no easy task. It comes with challenges, from environmental to affordability issues.
Well, we knew that we had to maintain that quality, that we had to struggle against the worldwide trend that cities really diminish their environment. How to develop in a way that doesn't put impacts on the environment, how to construct buildings that don't diminish the environment, how to have energy and manage water and deal with waste in ways that don't really impact negatively the environment. That's the agenda of today, and it's not, we haven't figured it out. We haven't achieved levels of affordability of housing so that everyone has a place in the city of the future. We haven't really put in place the mechanisms to ensure not just low-income housing, which we've done a good job on, but that there's good housing and suitable housing and enough housing for middle-income people.
One of Larry's philosophies was to make the downtown a family-friendly zone, because if it's safe for children, it's safe for everyone.
We discovered that when you design an environment for families and particularly for children, it works really well for everyone else because you have to be careful and thoughtful, you have to worry about traffic, you have to worry about even noxious plants and that. You have to think about those things so that the environment is comfortable, safe, healthy, and interesting. As of about 6 years ago, human beings became an urban species. More people live in cities now than don't live in cities, for the first time in all of human history. And every single year, the proportions go up significantly.
Vancouver has grown and evolved in its design over many decades, and thanks to people like Larry, it has one of the most livable downtowns in the world. For Local Connection, I'm Maria Rozo.
Thanks, Maria. Now, a lot of thought goes into how a city is laid out, but what do you think? Do you think Vancouver can hold its own against a zombie apocalypse?
Christine, I'd rather hope we didn't have to find that out, especially as we are here in the Vogue Theatre green room, just really relaxing. But in case we do need those tips, our reporter Sarah Hudson takes us to a place where we can really know what to do to avoid that zombie apocalypse.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Well, this is Zombie Combat Zone, and this is our little merch shop cafe outdoor style. So it really looks like you're outside of a combat zone. They get an orientation, they get a safety speech, and they're kind of read the riot act actually before they go out, because safety is number one, and for zombies and for our customers. And then they get a little tour of the guns, they get their goggles, and they head out.
Before heading out to slay some zombies, we had a chance to catch up with creator Ron McCall.
It goes. We have 8 tours a night, which are staggered. It's a 1-hour tour, but they're all staggered a half-hour.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And how long is the tour?
Just over 30 minutes.
Right.
So there's your orientation.
That's a long time
you
to be
get
scared.
barked at, yeah. And it goes. A lot of people think that it's too short a time, but when you actually get through and you're going through, we've had people come out and say, I don't think it could have been much longer.
My blood is granddad. Ain't sure what I feel, pain on blood.
So we opted to make it a bit shorter and more intense as opposed to like this long drawn out, you know, because I don't think on average a lot of people want to hike around 30 acres of forest, and you know. So we're waiting for our seniors group that booked. So last night we had a group of 10 come through, and 2 of them were like, before they even saw the first zombie attack, were just completely creeped out by the forest so bad that they were like, we want to go back, we want to go back. And you know, we're constantly evolving the game too. We're constantly adding new things. I just bought some animatronics and a special effects makeup and prosthetic guy that's building us a big surprise that's going to be ready in a couple of weeks. And then I think we're probably going to open sometime in April next year, and by then we're hoping to have some pyro and some things that we couldn't really get going at the beginning, because we just wanted to get the basics of the game down first. Starting to pick up a lot of momentum. We're getting, a lot of people are telling us that they're hearing about it from a lot of different sources, and that's great, because I mean, for us, it's been lucrative, but it's a lot of fun. Like for me, my fun is watching everybody standing up on the end of that thing over there, and 12 people shooting at a ton of zombies, and they're laughing and having a great time, right?
If you want to take time out of your work week and shoot some zombies, check out zombiecombatzone.com.
And thanks, Sarah. And we just never know when those tips will come in handy.
Well, if I'm gonna do any kind of zombie fighting simulation, I'll do it with a video game. I met an artist who also uses video games to cope, but not in a way that you'd expect.
It just brings me right back to my youth when times were simpler and I didn't have to think about everything that was going on in my life now. And you know, it just kind of began from there, and I sort of, you know, wanted to do a piece for my room to just be able to look back right on the wall and be reminded of these games that I played as a kid. You know, when I'm working on the art, I don't think about all these complicated stuff that's going on in my life. I think about my childhood. I think about the good memories when I was younger, and just escape. It's almost like the video games was an escape for me, just like the art has become another form of escape as an adult. So, you know, as I'm working on the art, that's all I'm thinking about. It's just taking my mind off things and focusing on something that's a celebration of pop culture and a generation. I got to a point where I felt like I really need to have a show. Because of the emotional connection I was feeling to these pieces, I just felt like it needed to be expressed. Anyone that really had Nintendo or video games impact their life and around them, I think is part of the Nintendo generation. I tried to pick the things that I felt were very iconic, the portraits or the full figurative or the symbols or text-based things, and just pull them right out, because I feel like as they are, they need to be celebrated. The Soda Popinski portrait here that I've done, he's got this soda pop can that says pop on it, and it just really was so iconic and exciting for me because it is pop culture, it's pop art, and I think that an image like that I really just was drawn to. I had to replay the games in order to get to Soda Popinski and, you know, screenshot just to get it. So it was fun to be able to play the games to do the art. So it was fun and therapeutic at the same time. A lot of people have been able to have similar experiences and brings them back.
I'm really drawn to these pieces because Nintendo was a big part of my childhood. Me and all my friends spent a lot of time sitting in front of the NES.
I think it's great to have that sort of visual cue that can bring you right back.
I really enjoy it. It's nice to see everything that, you know, I haven't really looked at for years blown up again, and it's just nice to come back and remember.
Well, that's a wrap for us here on location at the Vogue Theatre in Vancouver.
We always welcome your feedback. If there's a story that you want to see, leave us a message on our Facebook site. You can also check out our past shows on our YouTube channel.
For Local Connection, I'm Lola Acala.
And I'm Christine Vu. Thanks for watching.